about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 We about to turn it on. Go, 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 go. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 Turn it on, go, 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 go. We about to turn it on.
Welcome back, friends, to the Southeastern Esports League. As things are getting crazy this week, we begin the last chance qualifier, 16 teams fighting for 8 spots in the postseason. Mr. Pepic and Foof back in the booth. Foof, how you doing today?
I got to cover a spot late in the day, so I ended up breaking out my laptop and going back over notes, rewatching a certain video that you guys will see after the first series here, covering a lot of these teams and what Bepic thinks might play through. And then I went and erased my whiteboard and said, no, I want to be different on some of my predictions. So I am juiced up. We've got a couple of very good games on stream and a lot of other very exciting and intriguing games that are going to fall into place so that we can see what happens next week as well.
Yeah, the last chance qualifier is so saucy today. We're covering the upper side. So it's double elimination bracket for these 16 teams. And the top 4 will make it through on the upper side, and the lower 4 will make it through on the lower side. Colt's got a graphic queued up for all of you to see exactly what we're talking about. But Foof, you and I were making predictions earlier. We'll get to those in a little bit. But I know you and I are excited for a lot of matches on this bracket.
I mean, it's hard to pick one in particular, and especially in this first round. This first round has become such an interesting point of contention because you have a lot of teams that didn't really kind of answer the call that you felt like either A, they could, or B, they should have. And now that it's last chance, you've had an entire 4 weeks to play. You've had all these teams to play against, so you should be at your peak. Yep. This is what makes it interesting. Harken back to last season. The B team, Clemson runs. You know how much of a fan I am.
Yep.
And so I think my game I want to personally not watch, not the game I think there is to watch. I personally would love to keep an eye on the UNCC and UAB game.
Yeah, that's another big one. I mean, I know you're a fan of the Blazers, so I know you'll be watching that on the side if it's getting streamed. But I do real quick. The players are about ready, and Colt made this wonderful predictions bracket that I would love to show off. Because for those of you that didn't watch the YouTube video that I posted today on my channel, these will be surprises for you. These predictions that I put together and Colt assembled in a bracket. So, of course, Auburn's already played. I did predict Auburn, by the way. I didn't have that going to game 5 against UAH White, but I did think they were going to win and play Alabama, who I think will beat Clemson. That matchup, potentially, the winner of Clemson and Alabama versus Auburn will be our second series on the day. So we'll get back to that one in a little bit. But Louisiana Tech and UNCC, I've got moving on. ECU and UAB, I don't think you're going to be able to keep up over there. And then same deal, FAU and Florida. They got a lot of firepower, though. And I do disagree with some of these predictions, but we don't have time to argue. Bracket. Yeah, let's talk about that bottom side. Oklahoma, you and I, all right, we agree. Oklahoma's moving on. But this matchup coming up, South Carolina Garnet and UAH Blue. Foof, talk about it.
I mean, I'm just going to read you an excerpt from my notes, okay? My heart wants UAH Blue to rise to their former glory, but my brain knows probably better, and this should be a game for the Gamecocks of South Carolina to win. And it's a group that if you followed the SEL, you've heard the name B-More, you've heard Kami, you know these guys come to play in big moments, but they haven't been able to close it out all the way.
Yep.
And so I really would love to see them have momentum carrying from a very important last 2 weeks where they got 2 of their 3 wins forward. But on the flip side, you do have a USC team that went 3-1 in this past 2 weeks. They are hot. They are cooking well. And they tied for 3rd in their group at 5-2. Or 2nd, technically. And it's going to be an uphill battle, but I am a fan of old teams making it happen. I am a fan of this UAH team. Call it personal bias because we're boys with UAH. You know how this works. And I want to see them do it. And so I called them to move forward over USC, my heart superseding my head in this one.
I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I mean, you saw in my bracket, I've got Garnet moving on. I think they are probably the best B team in the entirety of the SEL. They beat Florida State a couple of weeks ago, so they've got that going for them right now. But UAH Blue, historically a very good last chance qualifier team, and they are returning one of their players from their last 2 LCQ runs where they made it through the dangerous double elimination bracket. But this is a new SEL. We got new teams like South Carolina Garnet, like T-Man's Ugly Nomad, ready to pounce on the Chargers. We'll see what happens, Foo.
Right now you have Jay and USC wreathed in the black. And Dylan open the door, sifting through. You call his name, and he's already got one for the Gamecocks.
That's a fast start. Wow, I was not expecting Garnet to be off and running that early on, getting the demo plays on the board. That's a big part of how they beat Florida State. I think in Game 5, the one goal that they scored was a physical bump play. It's a style they're very good at playing, and it's an annoying style to play against. So UAH Blues got to have their head on a swivel this entire series.
Not only that, but the passing already out early from UAH, as that is B-More trying to connect on two long balls. A shot coming off of one Kami slow play, can't get it past the second, as now T-Man cannot find a win at midfield, lost in transition there. So UAH 2 quick touches, but only one shot coming out of it. Still sitting at a 1-0 game as the Gamecocks hold on to this early lead.
But Chargers pressing, Camille's down the pitch, being a nuisance and clearing still somewhat muddied path, but a path nonetheless to the back of the USC Garnet net for B-More to score 1-1.
Well, Camille just kind of clearing the lane, didn't make any contact, but made enough of noise to tie this game back up at 56 seconds off of the clock. 1-1 in game 1.
And now things really starting to heat up as Josh launches a tight
B-More
angle shot that sets up the captain again. B-More, when he plays in the LCQ, he's done it once before. He has lost. He went out in 2 rounds. Here, he's trying to change that.
Well, the captain holding that band on his arm, holding his team to a higher standard, and holding 2 goals to make it a 2-1 game.
Oh no, right, but Garnet, T-Man trying to secure the open net. What is happening? Still score the ball sitting on the goal line. I don't know how the Gamecocks are coming away empty-handed.
The Chargers survive somehow, and B-More has a clear. They breathe a small sigh of relief as T-Man back on the attack, trying to quick reset, but cannot find it. Aggressive 50 there, pushing the ball forward. Josh looking midfield, but all he finds is SJT looking back to T-Man, a pass down. He's going to try a near post shot. Second touch, not successful. SJT, though, finds it in the middle to make it a tie ball game.
Game 1 of this best of 5 is already delivering. The offenses look clean. Both sides, I think, trying to figure out the other, because they do play awkward styles of offense. UAH Blue, very good at capitalizing on mistakes and scoring the simple goals, and Garnet, very physical, very aggressive, and kind of mechanical too at times. And we saw T-Man flashing the flip reset there to set the ball up for his teammate to score eventually. So UAH Blue having to deal with that, but we're just tied. Both sides going back and forth here. I love it.
Now, an honest question, do you think Josh is intentionally wearing the white kit to look almost like a goalie in this situation, or do you think it was just an unintentional style choice?
I'm guessing he just likes the G2 decal, to be honest.
Well, 2 complexity cars and 1 G2 logo, makes it a 2-2 game. Camille underneath, up and over Jay. You've got to dive towards it, and T-Man does just that to make it a savior medal on the scorecard. And so horns lock, both teams pressing forward here as we crest this midway point in the first game of this best of 5.
B-More's got room here. SJT may be the first contender to that ball and does well, as it was kind of a 2-on-1 there for a second in favor of UAH Blue, but Garnet quickly rotating back from the midfield challenge, but they're still playing defense. A little bit of scrambled defense at that. Jay, though, does make the save and prevents another go-ahead goal for UAH Blue, and it looks like Garnet's going to get out.
They're going to break out for the moment. No, not credit to the shot. I thought he was going to find one. That's a dangerous toucher. It's kind of left on UH's side, but they sneak it through. A bicycle touch. SJT, though, beautiful read off the backboard. Now going to find a quick clear to break through that offensive line, but not for long. And so we get back into this midfield dance of back and forth, trading of possessions and touches. A save not going to be found as Jay strikes in transition.
It's a rough spot for Josh. You have to react so quickly to the ball, going up the back wall right there instead of staying grounded. It's a bang-bang decision, but he made it so much more difficult to make that save by going to the back wall. I guess not anticipating that kind of one-timer right there from Garnet. So the Gamecocks taking the lead. T-Man extending a lot of boost to stick with that play.
You were bumped into this one, and he kept his momentum because of the bump. So, yes, you talk about T-Man burning a lot of boost, but ran back to it, ended up pushing him back into the play. No, pushing him high. It's going to be an aggressive push by Josh. That's off the backboard. Camille cannot find it as well, and T-Man lead blocking for Jay. Wants to find a soft touch of it. Too soft, so it's all up to SJT now. He's going to put it on. I was really worried. I thought the third wasn't home.
That was one of those moments where the director cam kind of messes with you, where it doesn't show the third man back.
Defensive jump scare.
UAH Blue, they get out of their back line and then force an insane shot. I can't believe that went in off a Garnet player.
Well, SJT with an angle to love, but if it's going in the other net, we got a 3-3 game, and the Chargers say we take those.
No kidding. I mean, that's a massive goal to get the game level again now headed into the final 60 seconds. And SJT going to be kicking themselves just a little bit, but hey, you shake it off and get back to playing offense if you can.
One thing that I love and also having to be wary about is the aggressiveness to find 50s on UH's side. The Chargers wish to challenge every ball, and let's be honest, the Gamecocks, they want them to do so. It's how they've gotten a lot of aggressive pushes, so both of these teams playing in to a style of play where they're daring each other to make these aggressive pushes, one with the ball and one against it. Jay off the backboard setting it up. T-Man dives through, but he cannot find a touch as again B-More shuts it away. 3-3 the scorecard right now. Jay wanting that one back perhaps. The pass goes to no one but the defense.
And Camille setting up a counterattack. Looks like UAH is going to have the last big attack of game one, though. Josh missing the ball kind of allows Garnet a clearance. They could actually be the ones with the final attack, but
B-More
pass down to B-More. Not going to get through Jay completely, though. Ball will stay up thanks to Josh's efforts, and Camille going to let that one ground, but keeps it up. T-Man over to pre-jumping SJT. Love the thought there, but we do get overtime in game one.
Starting to worry a little bit if you're a UH fan. You saw how much boost was left in the tanks. T-Man putting a shot on B-More. Needing to save it and does. Now it's still trying to be found to clear. Camille not what he wants, and so Jay thought he was going to get nothing on that. SJT, it's just a little bit of a confusion there. They thought maybe a better clear than had to kind of make things happen when the ball was a lot more favorable than originally intended, perhaps.
Oof, yeah, very awkward play to start off overtime. UAH Blue's got to be careful in those kinds of spots, but Garnet wasn't able to punish that time around, so they have to retreat for a moment. T-Man, it's a win, and you're right, no one's home here for UAH Blue.
Neither team!
The ball was just in the perfect spot to where South Carolina couldn't collapse on it, but they still might be winning. T-Man almost scored the game winner, but somehow UAH Blue...
Oh my gosh!
Main character survival instincts going on here.
Oh my goodness. I mean, plot armor seems to be real. UAH trying to fight into this game. Jay can't find a demo on B-More. You know, popping it up high. He's got Josh following forward, but that's an aggressive push again. Now the Fennec, maybe a little flash and distraction is instead of a shot, it's really just a pass back to the other team. So we're dancing up and down this left-hand sideline.
Grief, though. It has been precarious Rocket League at best for UAH throughout this, though South Carolina respecting them.
Oh boy.
Staying back, but big opportunity now as Camille's been beaten. Up his T-Man for the win.
Okay.
And he slots that one. The Gamecocks were this close to winning that overtime so many times, but they finally do it at 93 seconds.
Well, that's a beautiful touch by T-Man, and he calls bank and calls a game in game one. 4-3. GG's put in chat, and it certainly was a great way not only to start this series, but to start the last chance quals here.
11 shots to 10, 7 goals. Man, I love this offensive-heavy game one that we just got to watch. T-Man with 4 saves, though, as well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the way it goes sometimes. Like, that's the feeling out game where everyone's scoring, the defense can't get a read on these awkward offenses, then it's going to be a 1-0 Gamecocks win, because that's what they did against Florida State.
Wow.
It was a 1-0 win in Game 5 to get that big upset. So USC's defense can hang with that kind of game.
Well, they can hang, and they hung so well, they ended up hanging up a bit too far in the air on their own end and giving up the tying goal that forced overtime. But Once overtime hit, you saw that offense wake back up, and they put pressure after pressure after pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You said it. More than 2 or 3 times, they should have went ahead and signed off on it. And with a team like UAH, especially a team that kind of makes it in these last chance calls, you can't give teams like that opportunities.
Mm-mm.
And UAH kind of kicking themselves that they couldn't take full advantage of it.
No kidding. Those whiffs and just slight touches that they were making in defense, that can't happen again here. You got to make sure you are getting all of every ball you can, because in the LCQ, there's a reason that Foof and I love this bracket so much, because anything can happen, and it turns into insane Rocket League this week and the next. So you got to make sure you stay out of the insanity if you want to get out without
2v1
giving yourself a heart attack. But UAH Blue getting right back to it here in regulation of Game 2. Nice counterattack there, but doesn't pan out, so we'll stay 0-0.
I love the call by Jay, knowing that his opponent had no boost to make that early 50. Keeps the pressure on here for the Gamecocks. Camille up and over 1. He's got B-More off to his left, but no boost in that. Fennec means no real offensive push. T-Man going to find a clear. Josh wants to find it. He does. He got bumped into it by SJT. And you know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than be good immediately.
Keeps possession on that UAH Blue side, but not maintaining it. They will lose it for a moment with that T-Man clear, though. B-More right back into the offensive end, beating one, setting up Josh for a pass across the Garnet box. UAH Blue just testing the waters, it feels like. Put it across your opponent's goal line until they make a mistake, double commit, and give you a free lane to net.
Well, the Gamecocks get a bit too aggressive. T-Man pushes up. SJT and Jay all push forward. All 3 too far. No one home. It's a 1-0 game.
All right, that's a defensive mistake that South Carolina Garnet were making a little bit in Game 1, but UAH Blue wasn't really there to punish too often. Here, they get the opening goal as a result of it, and speaking of defensive mistakes, that was Camille just rotated back through the play on the defensive side.
I mean, I realized that I'm doing
my webcam mic this whole time, so I'm so sorry to everyone who's not been able to hear the nice mic in front of me. We're fixing everything in the back end right now. Don't worry. But great answer.
The T-Man car microphone.
I was. As Josh has the touch midfield. Camille looking. There's no one home again. It's a track race.
That's Garnet here just pushes up way too aggressively. UAH Blue gets a favorable bounce right there, getting the ball from that 50-50 Josh was taking over to Camille, is prepared for that, and fair enough. Garnet overextending, they get punished. UAH Blue starting to become a little privy to the tendencies of this Gamecock roster.
Well, both teams may be starting to feel each other out a little bit. B-More wants to be aggressive and push. Now it's a 2-1 the other way. Jay bumped into the corner, says, thank you very much. I'll take the boost and rotate off. No, he's going to stay towards it. Cut out SJT. So interesting push here on the offensive side. Ends up turning into a turnover.
Man, kind of taking advantage now of a miss on the UAH Blue side. What ended up costing the Chargers, honestly, Game 1. They were right there outside of a couple defensive errors. Just straight misses and poor touches. Starting to happen again. They got to be careful here. This is an important series for them, because this is probably the most winnable round 1 match. I think you could have been granted. I mean, close seeding. The Gamecocks, very good team at their peak, but there's a reason they're a B team. They're susceptible sometimes to other squads in the SEL. So UAH Blue to take advantage of this draw, but doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Still fighting very hard as this Garnet offense to tie up the game.
Well, B-More slow. Instead of just trying to find big 50s, has had, 3 of the 4 goals for this team? 5 if you're including the own goal. And so B-More, the captain on the field, captain in the name, and taking control of this team, trying to will this group forward. Again, T-Man caught out a bit too far forward, a bump, a pass attempt. B-More has it far post, but it goes too far, and so Josh clears it back out.
Oh, wow. Josh, he's going to collect the ball on the other side, but I love that touch on the goal line to keep possession and eventually turn that play into a shot on target thanks to whatever kind of slingshot pinch that was from between 2 Garnet members. But UAH Blue not scoring. USC Garnet holding things together on on their defensive end, giving themselves a shot in offense in this final 90 seconds to maybe tie things up. But they got to capitalize eventually and stop double committing like that in defense.
They're getting a bit too excited after game 1 where they gave up the own goal. They won an OT after having pressed so hard. I feel like the nerves starting to slowly creep in to both sides. If you feel it, I mean, just aggressive pushes all the way from UH. It's been their moniker this series, but uncharacteristic double commits, you've seen it happen. They've already had to pay for one. Now it's all about trying to make either madness happen on this blue end or for the Chargers holding on to a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, and I don't normally like to talk about nerves in series like this that aren't like playoff series, but with the last chance qualifier, I mean, it's kind of story in the SCL. Like, I know B-More was talking a lot about how nervous he was about having to perform in the last chance qualifier. So I know he, and that probably leaks out into Camille and Josh as well. There's a little bit of concern about how their season, or their fall split rather, could be over today or next week. Not today, actually. They can't get eliminated on day 1, but next week. And your performance today can get you
next season, day 1 elims.
Next week. Yeah, we'll see about that. But you got to perform well in week 1 to give yourself the best shot in week 2. And so UAH Blue recovering from this game 1 loss, it seems, in the lead in the final 5 seconds. But darn it, an opportunity here. The ball is still up on 0 seconds. SJT going to keep it so, but B-More calmly grounds it. UAH Blue tie up the series.
Great job by UAH Blue to have an answer, not only on the pitch, but a answer on the scorecard, getting one back, having 2 goals. And we talk about it. The defenses stood up. What was it, 10-11 last time?
Yep.
4-1, and the one who shot didn't score. Like,
that's unbelievable.
Rocket League, right? At its purest.
We almost had one of those like infinity percent or infinity shooting percent games. Well, I mean, Jay was
didn't shoot. Okay.
Yeah, T-Man. Well, there could have been the whole team that shot infinity percent. But anyway, Rocket League things, you're right. And UAH Blue things recovering and clamping down on the Gamecocks. They're only allowing 1 shot after giving up 11 in game 1.
I think the biggest thing is after Josh got bumped into that ball in midair, a lot of his aerials became 1 point. And sometimes that's the hardest one, is his aggressive aerials when you've missed a ton in a row. As soon as you connect one, the confidence jumps back up. And yes, he got pushed into it by an opponent, but it went, yep, I can still get there. And it never seemed to shake. He wanted to be aggressive, wanted to stay on it. And that is how he ended up getting assists a little bit later on. And so now we're tied 1 apiece with just 2 games to go in game 3.
This is really where it starts to heat up. We were already kind of hot in game 1 with those 7 goals. It slowed down a touch in game 2. Became more of a defensive effort, but it is piping in game 3. The intensity ramping up. The winner of Oklahoma and stalling UTK Black. That's who they're playing. The winner of that series going to be taking on whoever emerges victorious here, but honestly, I have no idea, Foof, who's going to be taking this one. I could see it going to 5.
Well, only time can tell. And I think if Josh continues to heat up, UAH is going to be sitting pretty. You already have the goal scorer in B-More just waiting for one of his teammates to answer that call, as he usually has been a big assist guy. T-Man with a big push by himself. Jay wants to collect this. They've missed open nets before. They're going to have both players miss. Now T-Man gets demoed. There's no one home. B-More going to collect, but no boost means no real goal. Is Camille trying to find a demo, but all they find is a change in possessions.
Garnet was so lucky right there that B-More had an empty tank, because that's the opening goal in game 3. If B-More has 20 boosts to work with.
A missed open net into a lost goal.
A lot of miscommunication there on the South Carolina side. It's got to get shored up. A big save from SJT going to help with calming this game down a little bit. South Carolina's got to collect themselves, get out of defense, and see if they can prevent UAH Blue from getting this opening goal that these seem hell-bent right now on getting.
Camille was in the net, like, just way deep, chasing poor Jay, I think, around, having to just run for his life. Well, 1v1 here, trying to slow it all down, but T-Man plays beautifully, cutting it out and forcing it back to the midfield stripe. And so it's kind of this moment where we see the ball floating in the air, both teams taking a moment to breathe, but it's been all UAH pressure in the past 45 seconds.
Oh, now T-Man's alone, but Jay bumping B-More on the goal line and plunging UAH Blue into awkwardness. Again, it should have been a UAH Blue counterattack, but a great physical bump on their goal line prevents it.
Skull me. But yes, you talk about it. Should have been a counterpoint, but they're so aggressive on the 50s. Slowing it down gets them both in the air. And goal one goes to the Gamecocks. B-More trying to find a quick answer. This is the second time they've looked for that long pass to the right outlet and it hasn't connected.
Now looking to get out. Jay trying to dunk B-More, and it actually works out. Read that the ball was going to the side wall. That's impressive defense in the midfield. Now getting your team into offense. T-Man, another big read, but the shot's high. B-More does the same thing pretty much, clanging the ball off his own crossbar. And man, Foof, I was saying things are getting spicy, but it's pretty weird as well.
The kitchen has gotten strange, my friend. As SJT passing it back to T-Man. Camille again, just enough of a touch to keep it out of harm's way. T-Man 50 beautifully as that pitch turns it back towards the Gamecock side. Josh passed down Camille. He's going to collect it, push it back up to where Josh was. And so chasing up the wall, Big 50 keeps it at this midfield line. Jay wants to start something for his team.
SJT getting the ball back over to Jay, but B-More bumped into defensive position right there. What Garnet's trying right now is very close to working. The Chargers could really use a clear and some substantial possession right now. As South Carolina Garnet kind of putting the clamps on a little bit, but we'll find a much needed clear, freezing T-Man on the goal line. But I think UH Blue was just refueling in that instant. So they play the long game when it comes to possession.
That's dangerous, T-Man, if he doesn't find this touch. Beautiful job on the soft one, but the ball stays on this Gamecocks half. Josh caught backing up. He's going to find a shot, but he can't find the net. B-More waiting, wanting to find a teammate, and that is going to be turned away by none other than T-Man. Again, SJT in the catbird seat almost had a goal. But again, just aggressive pushing keeps this ball to stand still. But a 1-0 scoreline here as the Gamecocks trying to hold on this last minute.
We kind of called it, Foof, just a game off. The 1-0 scoreline after an electric Game 1 start. Now things slowing down. Jay, something explosive happened there, taking away B-More's car privileges, but Josh allowed a clear. It's T-Man up, jumping, but finds the clear, finds the save, finds everything he needs to position South Carolina Garnet for a successful final 30 seconds, but they're advancing aggressively again. And a passing play from UH Blue developed, but comes up short.
I thought we were about to see something magical happen, and we did. It was the defense standing the test of a beautifully orchestrated offense. 10 seconds left here to try and find one to go. T-Man up early, but he ends up getting the ball. That's T-Man beat again. Josh, 1v1. He's got teammates in front, but he forgot the ball. And so it's left on the goal line. B-More popping up high. He's got Camille crashing, but Jay has a clear, and it's going to bounce out. Josh pushing forward, credit with a shot, but it is over. The Gamecocks take game 3.
But it wasn't for UAH's lack of trying right there. That was frantic at the end. And another low shot game right here, a combined 7 between the two teams.
Again,
if you were to add up
2 for 0. Jay's 2 for 0.
That's okay.
All right, no,
a couple of insane stat lines going on right now. Foof, what's up with this?
Rocket League has blessed us with another one.
What's twice
I want
double
another.
Infinity? What is that?
It's absurd is what it is. And the Gamecocks make magic happen. And the magical goal becoming a goal steal, not because of a own goal. A goal steal is how you score without taking a shot, ladies and germs. But I'm intrigued to see what this last game brings us, because we finally broke the own goal streak. But I think I can see one coming.
Well, Garnet wins a game, putting up
It's over.
2 shots maybe, but I think the shot stat category kind of becoming irrelevant with the odd happenings there. We have a pool shot goal.
Own goal. Called
Josh
it.
is going to secure it. UAH Blue on the board first, but the strange goals have yet to cease.
That happened. That's the best I can do. 17 seconds in, it's a 1-0 game for UAH, and we take those, they might say.
They certainly do. I mean, first blood in game 4. Game you've got to win now to stay on the upper side of the brackets. They're fighting hard. USC Garnet, their offense has slowed down, just 2 goals in the last 2 games, but they've still gotten themselves on series points and potentially a date with the winner of that OU UTK series on the line. They're able to win this game.
T-Man ends up handing off to SJT. You rarely see a true handoff nowadays. That's going to be a beautiful pinch. It's technically going to drop on as T-Man had to dive and keep it off his crossbar.
Jay, plenty in the tank. Another solid defensive look. Turned into an offensive try for South Carolina Garnet, but now 2v1 the other way. T-Man's done well in these situations so far this series. In the past, not quite perfect from UAH Blue, so T-Man, again, prevails out of defense.
More wanting to have that one back. Now trying to start something. He's got Josh in the corner. Josh opting to leave the ball instead. So it's all to SJT, who has a 50 win, but loses control after the demolition. Josh midfield looking for something, but all he finds is a Gamecock defense waiting for it. Jay oversteps. There's no one home. And Camille takes game 4 to a 2-0 storyline here.
Oh, game 5 starting to peep its head above the horizon as UAH
over
Blue.
the stands.
Oh, getting excited. UAH Blue, they've got to defend this lead. South Carolina Garnet has the firepower to take away a 2-goal lead from the Chargers in 3 minutes and some change, but UAH Blue, if they're able to lock down, make sure they're avoiding those defensive mistakes that were kind of costing them earlier in the series, then it should be all right. But this game is certainly not over, even with the forehead of Game 5 looking at us.
5 head perhaps looming over this stadium. It's SJT wanting to drop it, but shot. I love it. Miss the shot so your opponents can't take it. T-Man keeping it near post is denied. B-More again. Try and try, but you'll still be denied by this UAH defense standing up to the Gamecock offense.
Now Josh again in defense alone. Yeah, he's got the save. Cool, calm, and collected doing it. But okay, I interrupt this broadcast with a news bulletin.
Oh, okay.
Clemson has swept the Alabama Crimson Tide. Beating them 4-1 in game 3 in potentially Snipe's last SEL. Actually, no, it is his last SEL split. They could make playoffs, Foof. They could do it.
Brackets busted, and man, oh man, what better team to make it happen than that Clemson team that made a run. But right now, I'm wanting to see UH make a run of their own and force a pivotal game of 5, up by 2 here, trying to hold on the last 2 minutes.
JT, looking to the skies. He's got Jay backing him up. Nice second touch there from Jay. Something this Garnet squad does so well, those extra touches to gain territory into their opponent's half. But UAH Blue sat back, developing their own chance, getting their own territory in the other opponent's half. As Josh goes to the back wall, but T-Man right there. The defense is looking solid at the moment, which is bad news for Garnet as UAH Blue notches another big block.
And it is just hair's breadths away from goals each and every time. UAH not living nor walking. They are tap dancing on the knife's edge and holding on to a 2-goal advantage.
Ooh, cheeky pass from T-Man. Another moment of awkward touches, getting Garnet into defense, but B-More splits those 2 defenders, trying to keep possession on the Gamecocks' end. So we enter the final 60 seconds of Game 4 in Gamecock territory, looking for a clear, but B-More, oh, sorry, that wasn't B-More. I think he was sitting back waiting for that ball to get center. Josh and Camille the ones spending effort to get that ball into position, but Garnet finds a clear, and well, even with this possession foof, UAH Blue doing a great job stunting this Garnet offense.
Well, stunted is a very good word, as they have not found any footing at all. Yes, the most shots we've seen in the past 4 games, but 5 saves to 6 shots, 7 shots to 6 saves. Only one of them, again, ringing off the backboard And so it has been an outstanding performance by this UAH defense. They've given up enough opportunities. That's going to be a third goal. T-Man caught out of rotation. Third goal, 3-2, still whining either way. But Camille cashing this one in.
Now I think it's a little more than a forehead of game 5. It's the full body. I don't see 3 goals in 10 seconds. I see a game 5 on the mainstream in the last chance qualifier. Oh, I'm so glad that we chose this series, Foof, because it is delivering.
Not only did it deliver, but it delivers on names! B-More wanting to add a little salt to the wound. 4-0. It has been beautiful. And that is the captain coming through to make his name known. UAH Blue gonna win this one as we have a little bit of a soft lobby reset here going into game 5. But how about the Chargers?
How about the Chargers? I'm impressed. I thought Garnets would be. I had them as the favorites. I don't think that's an inflammatory statement to say they were the favorites coming into this, but I didn't know if this was actually going to be a 5-game series, because South Carolina Garnet, I have them as potentially a top 10 team, kind of on the fringe there. And UAH Blue, they haven't registered like a big win this season yet. They were sandwiched
until tonight.
The bad teams in Group 4 and the good teams in Group 4, where they couldn't beat the top, but they could certainly beat the bottom, get to the last chance qualifier. And you're right, this is their chance to register a huge win on the mainstream, which is their first appearance on the mainstream, Foof. The Chargers taking full advantage of the stage they have been presented.
Kind of bearing the banner as UAH White lost earlier. We talked about it, was played Tuesday, so only team left in uppers for them. And this is going to be exercising demons if they can do it, staying in the upper brackets, knocking out, like you said, Bepic, a team that you feel like is either in the top 10 or right outside the top 10 looking in. And, you know, a UAH team that didn't perform great in their groups, a team that we really expected a lot more out of, and they couldn't do it up until now. But all that behind them, 4 games done and dusted, 2-2. It is standing at a best of 1 to walk away and stay in the winners. It is up to both of these squads who's got not the best 3 on the field, but the best 3 tonight.
Well, the last time I watched South Carolina Garnet play in Game 5, it was a 1-0 victory over the then undefeated Florida State Seminoles, where Garnet notched 13 saves to ensure that their 1 goal was enough to claim that series. We'll see what happens here, because anything goes when it comes to the last chance qualifier in the Southeastern Esports League.
More running underneath that one, and I gotta say, I love the Bumblebee Finnick look we have coming out from SJT, perhaps trying to ward off any bad juju from earlier games. B-More again off the backboard, following through here is T-Man to clear it out. Camille slowing it all back down. A pass off the ceiling, going to turn into perhaps a shot. No, T-Man opting to keep it away. SJT going to credit it with perhaps another assist, but they cannot cash in on it, and B-More clearing it to midfield.
That was a great challenge to put the ball off the back wall, but by that point, Garnet had expended so many resources trying to get that pass off the back wall. There's no one there to shoot, so they retool, and they score the opener a minute into Game 5.
That's a beautiful job, SJT, getting a redirect into net. Josh just has to try and panic clear and push it right into the nose of T-Man, who collects again with a bank. And now we're at a 1-0 scoreline, but this time the Gamecocks back out in front.
Kickoff T-Man almost cutting that back. Now Josh the chance on an open net. Jay bumped as he arrived at the perfect moment to get a save, if not for the sheer will of UAH Blues Josh.
The man in white makes it happen. Jay over Jay. Josh over Jay makes it work. It's a 1-1 affair again.
5 seconds is all it took.
That's all they need
for the Chargers to answer. And have we gone back to our Game 1 shootout mode, where it's just offensive firepower determining who takes perhaps this series and an advancement into the next round? I'm thinking so.
That's a 1-2-3. B-More collects it, pushing off to his team in a beautiful second touch, opening the door. Josh has 2 defenders, but doesn't see them. He only sees the top left corner and sees a 1-goal advantage here for UAH.
2-1. That touch from B-More, forcing a defensive mistake out of T-Man, but he makes it right back. Tie ball game
They take
again.
those. And that is a beautiful kickoff that opens the door, and T-Man says, thank you very much. We'll sit back at Deuces Wild here. A minute and 20 seconds in.
All right, and results starting to trickle in. If you had a prediction bracket, I guarantee you it's busted.
It's busted.
Oklahoma beat UTK Black, but that's the only normal result we've seen. UAB beat UNCC in Game 5.
Yes!
That's not even the craziest one. Montevallo has swept FAU.
Let's go! Montevallo moving on. But I gotta hold my excitement too much right now as UAH back on the attack. SJT credited with an epic save on his own goal line. Josh off the backboard trying to find B-More. B-More passing to himself. It's gonna come through. This is the 1v1, but he couldn't get it. Calling close one in chat as he was like, maybe I can get that self boot.
I love B-More. Very much involved in a massive Game 5 for his SEL career, and he's still quick chatting on the goal line of his opponent. Now he's getting bumped around to the Garnet box, but South Carolina going to prevail here. SJT got the ball to T-Man, and that is a dangerous prospect for any defense in the league. T-Man slots another one.
Well, he just played it perfectly. Stayed right in front of the ball, waiting for a pass from SJT, and KT lost it. So a little bit of losing a possession turning into a pass is beautiful offense here coming out from the Gamecocks.
Now they've got a lead that I could probably guarantee you won't stay intact one way or another, whether that increases or it gets leveled by UAH Blue.
Ooh.
The former very likely right there as Josh had to scramble back to make that save. T-Man, he's got room to work with, and another dangerous prospect. T-Man, he had a big defensive error to give UAH Blue the lead. He's trying to make it back, but UAH Blue has something to say about that.
Beautiful pass, this time the captain being on the giving end, and Camille, they have looked for the left to right. This time the right to left is how you do it. 3-3 here in Game 5.
My word, and a massive ad break as well to kill some of the excitement. Hopefully you're just joining us after a minute of ads, but you missed a UAH Blue goal. I'm sure you saw it in the mini player up in the top right, but I guarantee you it's not the last goal you're going to see in this game, mostly because it's tied, but also because the offenses for both sides right now are cooking.
But who is either going to let it sit too long or find a way to make magic happen with the wrong ingredients? 3-3 with just over 100 ticks left, possibly in the series and in their upper bracket runs.
T-Man, big touch there. SJT's been taken out, but B-More was alone in defense there. Could be an opportunity in the counter. He doesn't have boost. Camille does. He'll step in. Now has to contend with a Garnet player right behind him, bumping him off the play. The ball goes back center. Josh is blowing up SJT. 2 UAH Blue players missed. B-More's right behind everyone. Don't know what's going on right now, but it looks like UAH Blue, amid an insanity storm, has claimed possession.
Listen, they thrive in the chaos. The memes, the breakdowns, the B-More! And he is more as it's 4-3.
Here we go again. UAH Blue, another go-ahead goal here. Jay on the back wall, bested by Camille. And B-More, he's done the bulk of the scoring for his team in this series, and he comes up big on that finishing touch there. Now, the Chargers lead by 1 in the final 60 seconds. But again, T-Man in that ugly nomad, getting the ball across, but SJT and Jay weren't quite prepared.
You leave this nomad alone, all right? As Jay's going to try and dribble, but he can't find it. T-Man wants to get it to go on that right or that left-hand side, but cannot control it. 46 ticks, and it is all eyes on this Garnet offense. SJT going to drop it back down. He's got no one home. T-Man cannot find the bump nor the ball as Camille follows it. Not a lot of boost as Josh cutting through on his teammate. Aggressive push here, but he sent back to home.
Oh, the pinch might be on target. Okay, I think the bounce would have gone above the crossbar if SJT wasn't back, but doesn't matter because he was. And now B-More alone in defense, but winning the race to that ball, beating T-Man there. Jay's just missed. That's such a SJT with 2 stretch pass options, but in the T-Man's way as he was rotating back into the Gamecock half. Josh, a pass across to B-More. Opportunity to shoot perhaps, but plays it off to the side, plays the time game. Now, Gamecocks on 0 seconds. What do you got for us? A pass across. SJT denied. UAH Blue take their LCQ round 1 series in 5.
Demons exercise. Gamecocks knocked down, and UAH Blue get their 4th series win in just 3 weeks, and they are riding again. And B-More wanting to get bet against again.
He dropped a bet against us again, Bepic, in chat before he left the lobby.
Love you, B-More.
I've got a lot of teams right now that are going to be in my DMs telling me that I should have picked them because apparently I don't know how to predict the SCL. And
UAB's going to be yelling at me.
Yeah, absolutely, because chaos is raining down upon the LCQ right now.
Chaos reigns. I'm so happy, not only because this game went to 5, I'm so happy because of teams showing that seeding really has just become a number beside you and how many wins and losses you had. These teams are so competitive. Look at this. This was a team tied for 2nd in the Gamecocks versus a 5th seeded team for UAH Blue. Both of them come out, and it's a war. Game 1, offensive onslaught. 2, 3, and 4, defenses play out of their minds. Game 5, we take off the blinders, we take off the weights, and go back to swinging like the heavyweight fight this was.
You can always tell how chaotic a series is, how intense it is as well, by how my notes look at the end of it. Like, I just stopped keeping track of numbers there after game 3. I just got into it. I mean, that was so close the entire time. I think every game was a 1-goal game. What was the score game 4, Foof, do you remember?
It was a 1-goal game.
Okay, well, I think okay, no, that was a 4-0 for UAH Blue, actually.
Oh, so, was it?
Yeah, look, we
that's
don't remember
right.
just because the chaos.
It was the 4-0 because B-More had the little salt sprinkle right at the end to make it 4-0. The little end one.
Because we called the forehead of game 5 was turned into a full body there at the end. Yep. Okay, so yeah, mostly get 1-goal games there, except for the UAH Blue blowout in the 4th. But Foof, my word, we get Clemson and Auburn in round 2 of the last chance qualifier. Yes! And all the way back in season 0. I don't know if you remember this, but they played.
It's a throwback.
I think it was the quarterfinals of the playoffs there. And Clemson took that one in game 5. Snipes played in that one. And I don't think a single Auburn player that's on this team played in that one. But Clemson and Auburn go way back. I mean, I think he's dead set on going to playoffs because, like we've been talking about, this is he's graduating this semester, so this is his last run through an SCL tournament.
So that's got to be a big positive for him moving on, getting a chance not only to move on but to play on stream. UAH Blue riding high, going forward, and man, oh man, that was only series 1.
That was only series 1. We're going to go to a break. We got a video queued up for you that has a lot of predictions that have been proven wrong in the last 45 minutes or so. So take a break, calm down, cool off. I don't know, whatever you got to do to get ready for Clemson and Auburn coming up in just a little bit, because the SCL last chance qualifier will be back in just about 15 minutes time. Welcome back to the State of the SEL. I'm Mr. Bepic. The last chance qualifier is this week and next week, so today I'll be breaking down the 4 groups the 16 LCQ teams have been divided into, and who I think is making it out first. First up, Group 1, including Alabama, Auburn, UAH White, and Clemson, seeded in that order. Match 1 is the number 1 seeded Alabama, number 4 seeded Clemson, taking each other on. And this is a tough matchup for Clemson, who are trying to right their season of a lot of wrongs. They've barely squeaked into playoffs or the LCQ by beating their B team to get to this point. And Alabama, kind of white hot right now. They very well could be in the playoffs after finishing 3rd in Group 3 with a 6-1 record, just narrowly missing out based on game win percentage. So Alabama, I think, looking to go 2-0 right into playoffs, make an easy go of the LCQ, and it is a tough draw for Clemson. So I'm taking the Crimson Tide in this match. Then Auburn and UAH White a little bit closer, but UAH White is kind of in the same boat as Clemson, trying to right the ship of this season that has not really gone great for them. Whereas Auburn, yes, they finished 4-3, but that's in a very difficult and hotly contested Group 3, which they lost to Alabama, who I just said is one of the hottest teams in the LCQ right now, in Game 5. So as long as Auburn can kind of sort out their series closing abilities, which has been a struggle for them, I think they should take UAH White down fairly easily. But once they win that series and move on to play Alabama, it's a different story. In the last month and a half, Bama is 2-0 against Auburn with a reverse sweep and a best-of-5 in there, and then a Game 7 win over the Tigers, which Auburn's struggling to close out big series right now. They've had a pair of Game 5 losses, one of those being the Bama series, and the other one against Cumberland, which shows that Auburn is right there against the top teams in the SEL right now, but they just can't close things out. That, in addition to being 0-2 against Alabama, ending their SEL regular season on an 0-3 run against the top 3 seeds out of Group 3, Auburn's kind of trending down right now, whereas Alabama, they finished their group stage 4-0, which 2 DQs in there, but it was against UNA and Baylor, who they would have been sweeping, let's be honest, if they had played them. So Alabama, I'm going to give the nod to them in this matchup. I think it'll be close, but I do think the Crimson Tide take it and Group 1. Now, moving into Group 2, which includes Louisiana Tech, UNCC, UAB, and ECU seated in that order, which means the first matchup is Louisiana Tech versus East Carolina. And I'm going to pick Louisiana Tech here. East Carolina just doesn't have the playmaking ability to keep up with Louisiana Tech right now, who just took down South Carolina a couple of weeks ago in Week 3, and USC's got one of the better defenses in the SEL, so if Louisiana Tech can perform against the Gamecocks, then ECU is going to struggle, as they kind of struggled a little bit against UAB in Week 4. That was played out on my stream, and they only put in 4 goals across 4 games. So if they're struggling against UAB, granted there wasn't much to play for in that series except for seeding, but if you are going to struggle against UAB, you're going to struggle against Louisiana Tech. So I'm picking the Bulldogs here. Then UNCC and UAB, kind of the same deal. I just don't think UAB's playmaking is up to snuff with UNCC, who have really looked good against the top teams in Group 4 this season, keeping pace with Kentucky, keeping pace with King, beating Oklahoma, beating UAH Blue. I mean, those are good results against good teams in the SEL. So I think UNCC definitely the favorites in this series. So that means they'd be moving on to play Louisiana Tech. And this one, it's one of the better toss-ups in the last chance qualifier if things go according to my predictions. UNCC and Louisiana Tech are both teams that are kind of on the fringe of maybe that second echelon of SEL teams. So I'm very eager to watch this series if it does end up happening. But if I'm picking a team here, I'm going to pick UNCC. They just feel like more of a team poised to make waves in playoffs than Louisiana Tech does right now. And even though both squads have some decent upset wins, I think UNCC is just a little bit hotter compared to Louisiana Tech right now. But I think it's a series that is about 50-50. So very eager to see if I actually get this prediction right. And now, Group 3, we have Florida Atlantic, Florida, Arkansas, and Montevallo seated in that order. So first matchup, FAU versus Montevallo, and I want to give Montevallo some credit here as they've looked all right this season, but going up against FAU and Hammy Crackers, this just screams a series that Hammy's about to take over, and that's not even taking into account Damage and Mitra, who have had their fair of series this season where they have really looked the part of a potential contender in the SEL. So Montevallo, I'm sorry, I'm picking FAU here, and it could very well be a sweep if everything's clicking for the Owls. Florida and Arkansas, another kind of easy pick right now. Florida actually 3-0'd Arkansas all the way back in week 3, so I've got precedent here to pick Florida, and I've watched them a lot this season, and they kind of feel like the gatekeepers of the playoffs right now. Like, you beat Florida, you're a playoff team. Simple as that. But you lose to them and you're kind of on the fringe. You probably don't make playoffs. And Arkansas in that fringe area. So if they can upset the Gators and kind of avenge their loss a little bit earlier in the season, then hey, maybe there's another crazy last chance qualifier run inbound for the Hogs. But Florida, with that 3-0 in mind, with their potential in mind, I think they take this one. And then moving into the matchup against FAU, another really good second round of LCQ uppers matchup, but I do think FAU takes it. Their only losses this season being to the white-hot UTK and UGA squads that finished top 2 in Group 1. So Florida, if they can't contain Hammy Crackers or the Damage Mitra duo that's been electric at times this season, then even though they are a solid team with a fun offense to watch, I just don't think they can keep up. But this should be another best of 5 that's extremely fun to view. And if both teams are on, it really could go 4 or 5 really fun to watch games. So keep an eye on this series if it happens. And then the final group of the SEL Last Chance Qualifier, Oklahoma, South Carolina Garnet, UAH Blue, and then UTK Black. That first matchup being the Sooners versus UTK Black, and Oklahoma's a serious team right now, a contender team in the playoffs. They could make a run. UTK Black, kind of a meme team. I mean, I love Kung and his memes in the SEL Discord, but I just don't think they have a hope of beating Oklahoma right now. But as I always say, I'd love to be proven wrong right here. That would throw a big wrench into my predictions if UTK Black wins here, but so far, I'm picking Oklahoma. And South Carolina Garnet and UAH Blue, honestly, my pick for the best series in round 1 of the Last Chance Qualifier, because UAH Blue, they've got serious potential. They haven't had the season that they've wanted, obviously. 3-4 is not the result they were expecting coming into group play, but they're in the Last Chance Qualifier. And South Carolina Garnet, that's a good warm-up match for them. And South Carolina Garnet, I'm not saying they're going to lose. I have them moving forward in this series, but there is a chance for the Chargers here if South Carolina Garnet doesn't bring their A game. But if they're playing the same defense they employed against the Florida State Seminoles a couple of weeks ago when they upset them in Game 5, then I don't think UAH Blue's scoring much against this Gamecock team. So we'll see what happens, but with South Carolina Garnet moving on to be playing Oklahoma, and this is another 50-50 toss-up series for me. One of the closest matchups we could see in the entirety of the LCQ, with Oklahoma playing top teams super close and Garnet doing the same exact thing in their respective group. Again, it comes down to if South Carolina Garnet is on. If that defense is playing super well, then offenses are going to struggle against them. But if Oklahoma's offense and Bono are feeling really good, then we could see this, the series flip the other way. So I honestly don't know who's going to win this. I'm going to pick South Carolina Garnet just because I've watched a little bit more of them this season compared to Oklahoma. But this should be a Game 5 series if both teams are playing up to snuff, and I honestly cannot wait to see what happens in it. So there you go. Those are the first 4 teams I have qualifying out of the Last Chance Qualifier and into playoffs in SEL Season 4. But like I've been saying, some of these qualification matchups are honest toss-ups for me right now. But We've got some spicy narratives as well. If my predictions do pan out, we could have East Carolina and UAB rematching in round 1 of lowers in the LCQ after they just played in week 4. Then Clemson, I'm watching them so closely to see if they can make a run through this thing. The first series against Alabama is tough for them, but lowers, there's some potential for them to make it through and get some SEL redemption for Snipes, who's playing his last SEL event. So to go out in LCQ, I know he wouldn't be happy with that. So I'm hoping the team plays well for him there. And then we could have a spicy Arkansas versus the loser of Louisiana Tech and UNCC match. It's another great potential qualification series. And then on the lower side of the bracket, if UAH Blue does end up losing in round 1 and then advancing through that first round of lowers, and then we get an Iron Bowl match for qualification on the upper side, the loser of Alabama versus Auburn is going to be playing UAH Blue for a spot in playoffs. So a bit of an intra-Alabama matchup, and the last time UAH Blue played either of those two teams, it went to Game 7. So that's an exciting prospect for Week 2 of the LCQ, but I'm keeping an eye on this thing. LCQs in the SEL are always insane. So if you have the means on Wednesday or really throughout the week, if we have any reschedules, you would better be keeping up to date with the SEL Last Chance Qualifier, because this is really where the SEL starts to heat up. Thanks for watching. Chaos reigns in week 1 of the Last Chance Qualifier here at the Southeastern Esports League. Foof, we got Clemson and we got Auburn. It's Tigers v. Tigers in our round 2 matchup on stream for this Last Chance Qualifier.
Both of us had a team that isn't here moving on, and so we both had to change some of our notes. But man, is that some of the best note changing that we've gotten to do, because it is... You talk about the storyline of Snipes trying to stay alive, trying to stay in the winners, go ahead and get through in his last run in the SEL, going up against an Auburn team. Let's be honest, that's been so fun to watch, but they keep things competitive. So this kind of lines up to be a beautiful match on stream that maybe we didn't intend on, we didn't think might kind of come to fruition, but all of a sudden we're looking at this masterpiece waiting to be made.
Right, and we were ready for an Iron Bowl matchup on stream, which is it's cursed. We never get Iron Bowl matchups broadcasted in the SEL channel, but Clemson and Auburn, that's an SEL rivalry, because both of these schools have had a team in the SEL since season 0. And I was crunching the numbers in the break, looking over historical records. Auburn and Clemson as a school have played each other 5 different times. Clemson lost the first series in a 2-0 sweeping fashion to Auburn there, and then they have won every single matchup since, including 2 playoff matchups, one that went to Game 5, the other one was a complete sweep. So, Foof, Clemson and Auburn, I mean, that's pretty much the same level of hype as an Alabama-Auburn matchup.
It is, and that's why it's beautifully not gone down or gone up in excitement. It's just simply moved sideways. It is beautiful. I cannot wait to see this game kicked off. I mean, you can harken back all you want. If you weren't there, friends, last season, I will try not to love Clemson as aggressively as I did when they were making their run. last time in the LCQs. But my heart is happy to see this Clemson Tiger team getting another chance and then being able to sit in the booth with Mr. Auburn, playing and go, ooh, we get to have some fun.
Absolutely. I mean, and Darth Pepe, he is. I just should urine pour in my jersey. There we go.
There it is.
Darth Pepe was part of that Clemson B team in the last chance qualifier last season. I mean, he's the only returning member, only member that was actually promoted to the A team for the fall split of the SEL. So maybe he's just gold in the last chance qualifier. I mean, Arkansas making that run, if they do it again, maybe it shows that school was golden. But Clemson, Darth Pepe, maybe there's something there.
Well, sometimes you have to ride the hot hands, and then other times, even though this isn't a lose and you're gone situation, it's a lose and you're in a much worse situation.
Right.
And so having players that have experience, who've not only been in that situation, but won in that situation is almost invaluable to have on a roster. And the fact that it's Darth Pepe, a very solid player, those are two big positives that you definitely want to have rolling into this game.
And you have to keep in mind as well, the loser of this, not eliminated, but they will have to play the winner of UTK Black and USC Garnet. And Garnet, they just lost in Game 5 to UAH Blue Shore, but that's still a formidable roster. And we can't count out UTK Black either. So you have no idea who you're going to be playing in lowers in Week 2 until 7 p.m. Central Time, because that's when lowers is going to be played out during the 6 to 8 time frame Central Time. So just get it over with this week, Foof. I think that's the motto for both these squads.
Well, they're just waiting to see who falls down to them. And man, oh man, loading onto the field, you have Snipes, Darth Pepe, and Masao in the Clemson orange, Bro Turkey, Hums, and Vroko in the Auburn blue. We've got a traditional blue and orange. We've got a best of 5. We've got an SEL chance to move forward on the line with a best of 5.
And away we go. Snipes, the first ball carrier of the game. Very fitting in such an important series for his SEL legacy. I know when I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, I asked him about what the expectations were for this Clemson team. And I remember him starting it off. He was just like, I just want to make playoffs. And that is a darn good start to getting to playoffs in Week 1 of the LCQ.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a fan of the big-time play, realizing he had the speed. But secondly, I'm a bigger fan of the Monster Cat decal. When you play for the Tigers, looking good, feeling good, playing good as they're up 1-0.
All right, starting off well for Clemson. Maybe this is the moment they finally realized how to play solid Rocket League as a trio. But Vroko nearly turning in the equalizer and dashing some of those dreams, though ball was hard struck. It doesn't go in.
Bro Turkey wanting to find a clear and does. Gets it on this right-hand side. Snipes, 50 by Hums. The ball rockets towards the opposite side of the field. Darth Pepe goes low. Rocco high. Backward play cut out by Snipes. And so we're back on a dance towards this blue end.
This Auburn team, they've been struggling a little bit recently. Rocco and Bro Turkey, A-team returners for the Tigers. Hums joining them from the B team. They're all trying to make a splash here in the last chance qualifier.
2 for 2.
But it's Masao making 2 big splashes happen in the Auburn net.
And this might be how this team overcame a very talented Crimson Tide as they are up 2-0 early in game number 1.
Auburn's got to find a way back here. Very good at the beginning of series in the SEL, but closing out is where they struggle. Maybe that's the goal. Play from behind the whole time. And giving Masao a hat trick in the first 90 seconds of game 1 is certainly a way to play from behind.
Masao has made it magical here. 3 for 3. And this time coming off of the nose of Snipes, and they are rolling right now.
Masao, big freshman, Clemson had a lot of faith bringing in the youngster to their starting roster. Like we've been talking about every time Clemson's on stream. First freshman on the A-team in the last several years. I think Snipe said since he's joined the esports program for Clemson. But Vroko big key part of the Auburn offense, setting up Brodzerky and Hums to do the rest. That's the first for the Auburn Tigers as they get on the board.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there as Pepe and Masao dive for it. No one home to clean up as Brodzerky takes it and finds goal number 1 here for Auburn.
It's a good start for them. It's important that all 3 members of this Auburn Tigers roster are activated on the offensive side because they don't really have that one player that could take over and make insane plays as Snipes has just done. Here we go.
Off the ceiling, uses the jump early and follows behind the ball to make it a 4-1 game. Man, this Clemson team's starting to heat up.
No kidding. Snipes making an impact, but 2 Auburn players dunking Clemson member, set up Brodzerky through the corner, but Masao Snipes down the pitch, and the slow pass does get to Snipes eventually, but he's got nothing in the tank still. Gets the ball to the back wall, and Auburn's able to defend the play as he didn't have the resources, I think, to turn in a 5th goal right then and there. But Auburn now with an opportunity in their offensive zone, that playing off to the side and just setting up for an extended one here.
Masao 50 hard in his own end, clearing the player, not the ball. Brodzerky 50ing it as well. Masao again caught on the aggressive touch, but Snipes able to squeak it towards his blue end for the moment. Broco living the field, Hums running underneath him. Let's find a soft touching does, but he pushes it down right into the nose of the freshman to keep it at a 4-1 game.
Broco got room. I said earlier that Auburn doesn't really have that one player that can make big plays. I was thinking more like 1v3 plays, like a hammy crackers that's kind of head above shoulders around the rest of the competition in the SEL. But Broco and Brodzerky especially, they've got some substantial mechanics that they can flash, but this Auburn Tiger team does work the best when it's those infield passing plays that are clicking, like right there. We saw him get a shot on target. Hums and Vroco getting the ball to one another. Vroco and Hums again linking up there as Vroco doesn't make contact with the ball, but we're getting plunged into chaos here, Foof. A lot of players missing.
Well, a lot of players missing, and that really bodes well for Clemson as they're just like, well, we'll hold on to a 3-goal lead if no one wants to really hold on to the ball. Broco and company, though, they want to find something on offense. Even if they can't get back to within reaching distance, they want to find one before this next game.
Right here, big chance, if not for Snipes in the way. Have his car privileges revoked for a moment, but Auburn pressing, hunting for a 2nd goal, and to cut this lead down, give him a chance in the final 60 seconds. Vroco headed to back wall, and Snipes is there. Clemson, they seem calm in defense right now, despite all of this possession, despite all this pressure that Auburn's putting on them. They survive until the 49-second mark left to go in game 1. Hums making it 2-4.
Well, he wins out on the contact with a defender and then gets the goal on top of it, making it a 2-4 game, biting into this lead. 2 goals in 50 seconds, that's doable.
Certainly is, and they win the kickoff as well. Hums has space now going to the back wall, putting the ball in the opposite corner, not the greatest spot, but nonetheless, Auburn's playing offense right now, and Vroco getting the ball over to Brodzerky. Clemson's got to be careful here. A 2-goal lead is sizable in the final 30 seconds, but it's not completely safe.
Bar is getting a bit too long here on the offensive push, as it is a free form, unable to connect. Masao just keeping pressure forward, helping that clock continue to move further and further, closer and closer towards that 0-0-0. Brodzerky going to get this clear, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like it's going to be a 4-2 game to start this series off. And Clemson, riding off the back of, let's be honest, some great offense and solid defense to follow it all up, to make it a 4-2 game in a 1-0 series lead.
Could be 5. It's
no, it's not even back to that.
But all right, fair enough. It'll just stay at 4 goals, but that is a great showing from a Clemson offense that has honestly struggled this season. I mean, they were 1-5 going into the final week of play. They got into the last chance qualifier by beating their B team, which, you know, being honest, they should absolutely be beating their B team in a match for the SEL. So they narrowly got into the last chance qualifier, but they've hit their stride at the right moment. And Masao with a hat trick, 3 for 3. That's big.
Yes. Anytime you get a hat trick's always massive, but going 3 for 3 perfect in a game 1 as a freshman in your second LCQ game ever, they found themselves a good one on Clemson campus.
I mean, we've got a new evolution of the Clemson team. Will be completely new form for the spring split once Wheezy does get promoted to take the old man Snipes' spot. So
old man Snipes,
a lot of things to keep in mind regarding Clemson moving forward. And I know Masao and Darth Pepe trying to figure it out, trying to get some momentum heading into potentially playoffs if things keep going their way, but the spring split especially.
Snipes collecting this one. And you talk about it, man, trying to go out, perhaps riding into the sunset instead of laying back in the dust, defeated. What a way to possibly go out. And Masao and Darth Pepe, let's be honest, they've stepped up to try and answer that call for this team leader.
Auburn still holding on to the possession that they ended game 1 with, where possession ended 50-50, but that was thanks to a fast start from the Clemson Tigers. Here, Auburn's got 80% of the first 50 seconds offense, and they haven't come away with anything just yet. They've got to figure out the goal scoring sooner, at least the efficiency. They did get 2 in game 1, sure, but that was a lot of offense played at the end of that game without anything to show for it.
Neither team's having much to show for it right now. Backward pass trying to set up Pepe, but no one home means no goal to be found. Still looking for our first shot in this one, 1:16 in. And it's kind of falling back to that first series ebb and flow of offenses, finding their moments in game 1. And now the defense has become the form, and you got to really work to get these opportunities.
Sal's got nothing here. Needs Snipes, but that ball goes into an even worse spot.
All right.
Does well to get that read off the back wall with nothing in the tank, but Auburn maintaining control right here, still hovering on the 75-80% offense mark. That's a big clear that'll alleviate a lot of pressure for Clemson. What can they do in the counterattack, though? Is it just that quick shot, or can they maintain possession here?
Oh, that's a beautiful pass. Going to be a third attempt. Masao, no one home. And they're going to continue to feed the beast right now, as that is 4 for 4 in this game. And no, we're not at a fast food restaurant.
Give the hockey assist to Darth Pepe, though. Everyone was involved with Clemson's offensive counterattack right there. That was so perfect. Maintaining control, just simply beating Auburn defenders as they rotated back, making it an easy shot for Masao, who has been hitting much more difficult shots in this series. So I trust him to get that one. But Auburn, the same thing goes. All that possession for nothing, and then you get hit in the counterattack to now be in a deficit.
Caught on the jaw when you've been swinging the whole time, unable to connect yourself, and now you're reeling. You need to find anything to make something happen. Darth Pepe on his own. He's got a 1v2. He's got a great opportunity off the backboard, feeding Snipes, but Broco, beautiful patience, trusting his teammate in the air and making a save.
That was such impressive stoicism on the goal line from Broco, and now he and Broturkey, the tandem on the offensive side, trying to work through that corner, but their efforts lead to even more corner play. The ball does leak out, but no Auburn Tiger there to play it. Instead, Snipes in transition mode. Big Air's able to force a save out of Broturkey. Ball into Masao's hands, and, well, unfortunately for Clemson, nothing to actually show for it.
Beautiful 50 there from Pepe to slow it all the way down. Masao, they're going to break his stall. They were trying. Broturkey, eyes on the stat column, trying to break the perfection, perhaps. That Masao has no one to control. He's in a dangerous spot as the last man. But 90 ticks left in this one. It's still a 1-0 game, and Masao putting more pressure on.
In those 90 seconds, Auburn's going to have to find some more offense, because right now it's Darth Pepe and company getting the bulk of the pressure. And the ball kept in Clemson's hands by Snipes right there. Darth Pepe keeping it going, had a chance at an open net. This might have been back right there, but in transition, what can Auburn do? Because offense starting to fall flat. Broturkey trying to run ahead of the play, and I like the change of pace right there. Maybe throw off Clemson, but didn't pan out. So it's a reset necessary for the Auburn Tigers, and Vroko's the one behind it.
Masao is human. Misses his first of the series. That's a beautiful bump. It's going to open the door, but Hums can't sign off on it. The equalizer in their grasp, but now Auburn going to be looking and scratching their head. Team bumps open the door for Snipes, and it's a 2-0 game.
Wow. Bro Turkey just trying to get back. Masao beats Broco there on the near side, and Hums not back in time. Insane. Absolutely insane what Clemson is doing right now. Locking out Auburn, only allowing 2 shots this entire game, and their counterattack offense is immaculate, getting themselves a buffer now in the final 30 seconds.
You ever seen the movie Real Steel?
No.
Motion. All right. Well, it's the motion of the boxer standing in the corner, the old rope-a-dope, just tiring your opponent out, and then just taunting them, daring them to come forward. And that's been the counterattack offense you've seen coming from Clemson, daring this Auburn team to step forward. And they have been caught twice, big time here. And now Bro Turkey trying to sign off to go. Hum's going to collect on it, but man, what could have been perhaps if he had hit the earlier.
Okay, but hold on.
3
Game's
seconds.
not over yet. And
It's
with
not.
this last chance qualifier going the way it has been today, those 3 seconds could be pivotal in the complexion of this round 2 LCQ series.
We flipped
Auburn winning
roles,
the
Epic.
kickoff. We have flipped roles. I'm a believer right now until Snipes grounds the ball. I'm no longer a believer. Clemson going up 2-0. They're now 1 game away from matching their group's win total and making it to playoffs.
Man, oh man. Clemson University, how much you make my heart sing in these last chance qualifiers. 8 shots, only giving up 3. But let's talk about this Auburn Tiger squad. 3 big saves on the back of Rocco, 1 on Turkey. But there are no shots from those 2 players. These guys like playing offense. They are hungry, and they have been kept back, uncomfortable, sitting on the back foot. They need something to hold on to here because, let's be honest, they talk about it. They can't buy a game 5. Well, they got to do it now.
They got to buy a game 3 and a game 4 first, too. They got to sort out their offense because right now it seems like the strategy is send Vroco and Bro Turkey up first, see if they can bulldoze their way into a center ball, and then set up Hums for a shot, which is fine if Hums is hitting everything because that's only developing into a shot 3 times in game 2. And a couple of those Hums put off the post or right into the last man back for Clemson. So Auburn's either got to change things or Hums has to get his shooting boots on because at the moment it's not working. They've yet to score here. Well, they scored it once there at the end of game 2, so I'll take that back. But they need more offense. 3 shots isn't going to cut it.
It is not going to cut it, especially when you don't have a high conversion rate. Rocco up and over 1. Pepe waiting back as he's looking again for that man. Hums in the midfield. They cannot find the mark. Bro Turkey flipping the field. Hums running on the side wall, collecting the ball to his teammate. Pepe cannot find the touch. It's all to Masao in his own corner to flip the field.
Now Masao playing pinball on the offensive side. Hums right back to Darth Pepe. And Clemson starting off on the right foot. Masao, a laser from the skies, and Clemson continuing their run of good form with Masao at the helm.
Masao has taken this Clemson banner and is charged directly into the heart of this Auburn team and is willing his team forward and has brought them again to a lead.
And if you don't mind, again, Foof, I've got another news bulletin for you.
Do it!
UAH Blue has swept the Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh my goodness, they're able to find it. Bro Turkey with a big-time save. Beemore and company couldn't be more happy for them. Unfortunate for OU, but man, oh man! Good to hear from the boys in blue.
Insane. Absolutely insane. The upsets continuing to pour in with Clemson now on the doorstep of yet another underdog series win. It is what they do, changing narratives and playing deep into SEL seasons, now splits, but they still got to defend this 1-goal lead or add to it. As Auburn, despite being pinned back, they know how to play this close quarters goal line defense, and eventually they're going to break out, and once they do, Clemson needs to be prepared.
especially when you're only up 1 goal. A quick counterattack can be make or break, and that's what we saw. Darth Pepe with a flip reset, just keeping control of the ball, wanting to move this defense around while his teammate respawns. Masao back into the play, but Throw Turkey, a beautiful pinch to flip the field, looking for Vroko.
Darth Pepe, full boost tank, but not really the ball control to turn into an immediate attempt on net. Instead, it's just more field domination for Clemson, playing in that offensive zone as they have for 70% of the first half of this game. But Auburn with a quick shot near side. Bro Turkey couldn't hit it, and then Darth Pepe couldn't hit the open net that Clemson was left with. Masao, though, given a goal. It's like Clemson's strategy is to miss all shots that aren't from Masao's car.
Just feed Masao as Darth Pepe kicking himself. He couldn't find it, but the 2 defenders not ready for the return volley to make it a 2-0 game.
Wow, Auburn. You can't feel down on yourself, but it's hard not to with the way that things have been going for them this season. Losing so many series and game 5s, playing up to your opponent, and then coming up short, and, well, now struggling in the last chance qualifier. A game 5 series against UAH White, who Auburn should not be going to game 5 against, and now potentially getting swept by Clemson. There are 2 minutes left for them to change that. Get now 3 goals to close the gap, as Snipes might have just scored the goal that sends Clemson into playoffs.
I am, in one part, overjoyed with how Clemson playing. So my other heart is, it hurts to see Auburn not making the plays that we know that they can make. This team has been a joy to watch, and they've got 1 minute and 47 seconds left to rekindle that spark as they are down big. 2 games and 3 goals here in possibly the last game of their upper bracket run.
Someone's got to provide that spark to get the offense fire lit, and Vroko's trying to do it. A lot of control here, a big dunk there, but well, staying in the corner. Bro Turkey will take another far side shot, but again, just a touch off. Kind of summing up the Auburn offensive attack in this series, just a little bit off. Vroko, he's going to maintain control right now, getting the ball straight down, but Auburn expending a lot of resources to just get that center ball. They aren't going to be able to score it.
Man, oh man, Hums running up the middle of the field, but cut out by Snipes, using all the boost just to keep it away. Vroko, midfield play, wanted a shot, but it's wide right again. Vroko, backboard play, looking for something. Maybe himself a pass to Hums, but again, Hums will be denied. He's been the shooter, but he's been shut out.
Vroko bumped by Snipes right there, so we couldn't move in on that great pass from Hums center. So Auburn, 30 seconds now to score 3 goals, starting from their own back wall. The Clemson Tigers looking like they will advance. Just a little baby step to go for them to get into the top 16 of the SEL. Hums back, couldn't, he could save it. Okay, he'll keep this game going, but that's wasting a lot of time.
Yep, a lot of time being spent in a handoff to Vroko. He's going to get a demo for him, but there's still Darth Pepe to overcome. He's got unlimited saves, unlimited time, unlimited wins, as another save from Darth Pepe keeps it at a 3-0 to go 3-0, and Clemson's 2-0 in the day.
I wish we had some way to record Snipes' reaction to winning that series. Like, whatever jubilation. He's a pretty calm guy, but I imagine he needs to express some kind of excitement about getting this win and making it to playoffs and extending his season. And then I want to juxtapose it with the start of the interview that he and I had after week 1, where he started head in hands after they lost. I think they went 0-2 to start off their run. And I'm so happy for Clemson figuring it out, making it to the last chance qualifier, giving themselves that extra life, and now using it to its full potential.
Something I gotta say that really warms my heart is, and you can't really see it because we put it behind screens here, but it is beautiful sportsmanship from both of these teams. Talking about GGs, well played. Auburn tipping their hats to Clemson, who has come in and knocked off 2 big-time teams, and Clemson winning in stride and being good at winning. And man, oh man, I shouldn't have doubted him. I mean, today's just been my day of I should have gone with my heart.
I went with my brain and was proven completely wrong. Colt's got a piece to make fun of me with. I think he was editing something in the background while that series was going on. If you wouldn't mind throwing that up, Colts, I know everyone that I bet against.
Let me see. Hold on. What is it?
Is going to want to see this. I missed all 4
Did
teams
you call,
that would be
did
making
you go
it
0 for
through.
4?
I went 0 for 4.
Oh, no. The Bepic curse is real. Wow. Bepic, how do you feel?
You know, I'm not upset. It does hurt to be shown that I know nothing about SEL Rocket League, but I'm very excited for the next video that I'm going to make. I'll be completely honest.
It's just going to be upset galore, or is it just going to be you with like fake crying and I was wrong?
Probably both. Probably a little bit of both.
Oh man, I that is gorgeous. But GG's and well played to all 4 teams on stream. As how about those Clemson Tigers?
How about them? In between the series they played against Alabama and the one we just saw from them, Snipes messaged me with it's a GIF of LeBron James in a suit walking down a hallway in slow motion, just pure swagger. And I mean, he exemplified that. There you go. There's the real bracket. That's what we should have predicted as Florida, Clemson, and UAH blew the 3 teams to make it out of the top side of the last chance qualifier. They made it over Montevallo.
Oh man, I did call that though.
That
was the one I got right. They are the gatekeepers. They've made it through. Wow, lower bracket just got super interesting.
No kidding. I mean, Alabama and Oklahoma potential matchup, UNCC and Montevallo, ECU and Montevallo.
Yeah. Montevallo's got a strong chance of sneaking back in.
No kidding. I mean, that's a team that doesn't get much love. Like they're on the lower side of the SEL. In the bottom 16, but they're a revamped roster. Like in the past, Montevallo was a